Can a promise survive 80 years? Can love survive a country being divided? And can unresolved memories stay with a person until the very last moments of life? Today, I'm reviewing Vaapas Aaunga by Imtiaz Ali, starring Diljit Dosanjh and Naseeruddin Shah. And honestly, I don't think Imtiaz Ali made a movie here. I think he made art. But art isn't for everyone. Let's talk about why. Before I talk about the movie, let me tell you the short bite of just 2 lines about the movie to let you know how the story begins. The story begins with a 94-year-old man who suddenly remembers a promise he had made before the partition of India. Now, towards the final moments of his life, he wants to cross the border and fulfill that promise. What happens after that is the rest of the journey. And honestly, this is not a commercial movie. This is not a movie that entertains you every 5 minutes. This is something very different. I genuinely feel this is an experimentation in Indian cinema, not just in one department, but almost every department of filmmaking, and I'll tell you why. The first thing I noticed was the lighting. Throughout the movie, I felt like everything was underexposed. Every scene where I expected brightness somehow felt dim. I even asked with my friends that if it was me who is not able to see, or is it actually the movie itself? And my friends agreed that yeah, it is underexposed. But after watching the whole movie, I realized it was intentional. The entire movie carries the subdued visual tone. The next thing I absolutely loved was the cinematography. Almost every frame feels dramatic without trying too hard. There aren't flashy camera moments, there aren't unnecessary visual tricks. Most scenes are static. People simply sit and talk, walk, and live inside the frame. And surprisingly, that simplicity becomes the beauty of the movie. Now, coming to the sound, this is something I noticed immediately. Whenever an emotional scene comes, music tells us what to feel. Whenever a hero enters, the background score tells us to celebrate. But this movie doesn't do that. Here, emotions are carried through conversations, through silence, through breathing, through footsteps, through the sound of people simply existing. The background music is very subtle. It never tries to dominate the scene. It simply stays there to support it. And Rahman songs, they are beautiful. Even the songs felt different from what we usually associate with Rahman. They were soothing, warm, and almost like memories themselves. Now, coming to the editing, this is probably my favorite part of the film. Usually, an editor edits scenes. Here, I felt like the editor was editing thoughts. Because the movie doesn't move from scene A to scene B, it moves the way a human brain remembers life. One memory suddenly reminds you of another, then another, and then another. And before you realize it, you're somewhere completely different. That's exactly how this movie flows. Whenever Naseeruddin Shah remembers his first love, the movie goes there. The next moment he remembers Partition, the movie takes us there. Then another memory appears, and another. The movie doesn't travel through events, it travels through his mind, and I genuinely think that itself is an experiment. Now, coming to Naseeruddin Shah, honestly, he is the emotional pillar of this movie. The entire film moves because of him. Everything happening around him is what pushes the story forward. He had to portray someone living with a dementia. There were moments where he wasn't listening, moments where he repeated himself, moments where even I felt slightly irritated watching him, and that's actually a compliment to his performance, because if I, sitting in the audience, felt those emotions, then he has completely become that character. The next character I really liked was Diljit Dosanjh. His journey isn't just about another person, it's about understanding himself. He's someone who constantly keeps running away from himself, but through everything happening around him, he slowly starts understanding who he is. There is even a beautiful thought the movie brings. We all have love inside us, but throughout life, we keep searching for a container to pour that love into. I don't remember the exact dialogue, but that emotion stayed with me. Now, another layer the movie explores is Partition. Those scenes were difficult to watch, not because they were loud, but because, those things actually happened. The movie only shows us a tiny fraction of what people must have gone through, and that's enough to make you realize how deeply history changed millions of lives. The movie also talks about something I've always believed. Unresolved emotions don't disappear, they stay with us, sometimes for decades, sometimes for an entire lifetime. Watching a man carry one promise for nearly 80 years made me think about the human brain itself, how fascinating memory really is, and honestly, this is why I feel Imtiaz Ali didn't make a movie, he made art. Because this isn't trying to entertain you every few minutes, it's asking you to observe, listen, think, sit quietly with the characters. Now, I won't say this movie is for everyone. If you're expecting hero elevations, loud background music, commercial pacing, you may not connect with it. But if you enjoy cinema as an art form, if you enjoy observing silence, conversations, performances, editing, and how memories are translated into visuals, I genuinely think you'll appreciate what Imtiaz Ali has attempted here. Overall, I think Vaapas Aaunga is a film that deserves patience because the more attention you give it, the more it gives back. And I wouldn't say that you can watch this movie because this isn't a movie, it is an art that you can only observe and feel.